I'm Georgia.
And I'm Renee from iMore.com.
And right now we're going to be doing a versus for styluses, and we're going to be taking a look at the Pogo Sketch Pro, the Kuel H12, the Wacom Bamboo, and the Jot Pro.
This is a pro stylus showdown.
So for note-taking, Renee, what were the criteria that we used?
So there were a couple things, and some of this will come down to personal preference, but you have to decide whether you like the longer stylus or the shorter stylus, the stiffer stylus or the softer stylus, and then it comes down to how sensitive each stylus is, how much pressure you need to apply, and also long-term comfort. There's a difference between scratching out a couple quick notes at a meeting and writing down long-form notes for a long time.
Out of all of the styluses, in terms of being able to see exactly what you are writing, I have to say that the Jot came out on top. Because of the clear tip, I could see and do very fine detailed work if I was writing notes or if I was doing diagrams. Even small little tiny things, I knew exactly where the point of my note-taking was.
It's very intricate, and also because it's made like a pen, there's a hard tip on this, it's more like a traditional pen. If you're used to using a ballpoint pen or a mechanical pencil, you get that same instant feedback. You touch the glass, you feel it immediately.
There is a slight tapping noise that comes down when you are doing your note-taking. If you're writing in cursive, of course, it doesn't have to worry about.
It's also a little bit scratchier feeling. It's not as smooth moving across the glass, so that could annoy you depending on your sensitivity.
Now, against the other three soft tip pens, let's put these all versus each other.
Yeah. So with the Sketch Pro, it is not as soft as the other ones. You can press less before it gives you solid feedback, which I liked. Because the weight is at the front, the weight of the pen itself will activate faster than the other pens. It's exceptionally smooth. It's also long, so you can hold it further away, you can articulate it better, and if you prefer longer pens, it gives you a greater length to play with.
I like the Pogo Sketch Pro the most out of all of the soft tip styluses in this shootout. Then I liked the H12.
Yeah, it was really close for me, these two. It's also a little bit, the tip does not have a lot of give. It's a little bit spongy and then it becomes solid very quick.
And unfortunately, the Bamboo was not exceptionally accurate or sensitive when we press down.
Yeah, for taking long-form cursive notes, it doesn't really matter because once it touches, but it's just so spongy that if you're doing print or you're doing anything where you pick the pen up, put the pen down, for me it's a little bit annoying. It came out clearly behind the other three.
So our top two would be the Jot Pro or the Pogo Sketch, and it would depend on what your needs are and the way that you like to take your notes.
So for art applications, we looked at three things. One, fine line drawing with a pencil style tool. The next is line drawing with a pen or ink style tool. And the last was brush work with a watercolor or paint style tool. For the first two, for doing fine line work, for doing detail work, the Jot Pro was clearly ahead. The ability to do precise positioning. And just because I come from an artistic background and this feels like a draftsman tool to me, I never had a spongy tipped drafting tool, so it just doesn't feel natural. Maybe an old marker or a brush, but I wouldn't use that for line work. I never liked doing line work with a brush. So this one, just by feel alone, it is the most like a pen for doing that kind of artwork. When we get to the spongy tip styluses, these two were again fairly close for me, but the Pogo Sketch pulls ahead for a couple reasons. One is it's slightly less mushy, it's the least mushy of the soft-tipped styluses, and also the extra length and the way that the weight is on the top makes a difference just for the amount of pressure and the articulation that you can get off of it. At the end, again, was the Bamboo. It is just too mushy, and I thought the mushiness might help it for big blobby brush work. But again, it was so mushy, I had to push so much to get color out of it that it ended up just not being my favorite experience.
We took a look at accuracy, the grip, and also how much of the screen you couldn't see because of the shape of the pen itself. For me, I found that the Pogo Sketch ended up way ahead of the other styluses. One was that it had an amazing amount of accuracy. It was really sensitive. I did not have to press very hard. The Pogo Sketch, I would say, was about 95% accurate. I didn't have to press exceptionally hard, and it was wonderful in that I could see everything that I wanted to take a look at the screen more easily because it was slightly thinner at its tip. I also liked the grip of the pen. You could hold it really far out and move it around exceptionally easily. The next was the Kuel H12. I liked the feel of the pen while I was gaming, and I would say that it's about 90% accurate. It was comfortable and it worked really well. The Bamboo and the Jot, I have to say that their designs were not exceptionally comfortable. The Bamboo I actually did not like because of its shortness and the fact that the edge, the clip on the end, kept on hitting against my hand. It was also not exceptionally accurate on the screen, which frustrated me quite a good deal. The Jot, the noise factor was a big issue for me, and I found that it was really, like, I would say 70%, it would accurately register that I had made a hit to the screen. My two favorites were the Kuel H12, and the winner would be the Pogo Sketch Pro. So Renee, if you had to pick one stylus to purchase, which one would it be?
I'm going to pick my favorite, but there's going to be a huge caveat just because of my background. So if you're only getting one stylus, I would go with the Pogo Sketch. It's just a little bit ahead of the H12 for me. But if you are doing precision work, precision line work, drafting, precision diagrams in a note-taking application, I would then switch to the Jot. It has some negatives, but because of the way it's put together, if you're just used to a traditional pen, it's the closest feel for me. The Wacom Bamboo, despite its popularity, it was just bottom in every one of our tests. Too smushy, it's too short, it's too sharp, and it just did not compete with the other styluses.
If I was going to choose one stylus out of all of them, I would also pick the Pogo Sketch Pro. Its overall use, it does exceptionally well on all of the areas that we tested it with. Though, as Renee, if I was doing detailed line work, I would find the Jot Pro. At first, it is a little bit different to get used to because of its unusual design, but after you get past that, it's very comfortable and you can do precision line work, and it's less frustrating because you can accurately see where your tip of the pen is working. And this is Durja.
And Renee.
And this was the Pro Stylus Shootout.
From iMore.com.